Shalom, fam. This is Minister Thomas, and I'd like to go over a scripture with you that many Israelite groups and different Christian groups like to use to describe the racial identity and to prove the racial identity of Jesus Christ. And it's Revelation chapter 1, and it's verse 14 and 15. And it goes, his head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. All right. And the different words I like to pull out of here, I always hear them saying that his hair was like wool and that his feet was the color of brass that is burnt in an oven. And I just want to look at the scripture critically to prove to you that this verse is not describing a race at all. So right here we see where it says wool, it's preceded by his head and his hairs were white like wool, and white as snow. All right, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet, right here, like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. And one point I heard a gentleman tell me was that he made an example of if you put biscuits in the oven, you leave them in there too long, they get burnt. And that word burnt means black. And I said, that's a good point, but that's not the word that's here. The word burnt is an adjective. It describes something, and the word burnt means black. But this word here is burned, all right, which is a verb. So, and a verb is an action word. So I want to pull this word here, burned, up in the Greek. And as we see here, it's a Strong's Greek numbering 4448. And the Greek word here is pyro. And it means to kindle, to be ignited, to glow, be refined, or to be inflamed. As an example, with anger, grief, lust, to burn, fiery, be on fire, or to try. All right. So the main word that we see here is to be ignited and to glow. That's the verb that this scripture is talking about. So, and just give you some background, I worked in a foundry for a few months, and we would put metal into an oven, and when you put brass into a flame, it starts glowing. It starts glowing bright. That's what they call being white hot. That's when metal actually passes through a furnace, then it starts glowing. And that's what this verse here is talking about. Then we have to go back in context, and it lines up perfectly where it says his hairs and his head. It's weird that it would say his head is white, along with his hair is white as wool and white as snow. And his eyes were as a flame of fire. And again, we see that word pyro, for the eyes are as a flame of fire. So again, everything in this verse is talking about that he's glowing, maybe as in the glory of God, that he's glowing. So there's nothing here that we could use to prove or a racial description of Jesus Christ. And I just wanted to leave you with that. God bless you, Sam.